Wakati nilipokuwa mdogo, maisha ilikuwa ngumu. Lakini wakati huo hatukuwa na hii mambo ya kufuga wanyama. Faida kubwa ilikuwa tu tuwe wanyama na tufukuze waende mbali. Hatukuwa na faida yenye tunasapata faida ya mnyama akiwa anasimama.
Neti ingishuang, neti ingwesiang, amera na ba ngwesi, eta ngonanga kiseni njara de nepake ongishuang.
This is like a web of life that I belong to, that we all belong to. That if we destroy nature, we actually destroy ourselves. We are dependent on it, and that nature talks to us. And it contains deep wisdom and knowledge that we can actually tap into. It can guide us.
As human population increases and spaces for wildlife diminish and become more condensed, we have no choice but to manage them.
Some 60 to 70% of the wildlife in Kenya now are dependent on the community wildlife conservancies areas. It's kind of a label that we use in Kenya of land set aside for wildlife voluntarily, and the land belongs, it's owned by the community members. So if you look at it today, the community wildlife conservancies outside the National Reserve is bigger than the National Reserve. And 25 conservancies protecting the National Reserve. And the Kenyan government recognized that, so we are now partners. It's not my lions and your lions, but we're partners.
So the Saruni Basecamp model is encompassing various things. So one is we are a business, Saruni Basecamp, but we also have our sister foundation. So the two are two legs of the same body. Because our purpose is to be the custodians of the web of life. What that means is in the areas that we operate, we actually want to operate those areas responsibly with the people. So we don't buy land, we don't take land away from the locals.
Basi gore gana kop, ora na kopang na Tana girian to kune belegen jira na kop, na yoga kir Masai belegen, amyong kopa nana.
So trust can only be built over time. You can't buy trust. You have to prove yourself. The best way to gain the trust, I feel, is that you tell them about your intention, you open about the resources, you open about what you expect, and you do your best.
In terms of setting up new conservancies, so the foundation comes in, which is our second leg of the group, and talks to these communities. So the foundation then is able to make the initial infrastructure elements, I would call them, which are the hardwares of making sure the conservancy is actually investable. Road network is important before any investor can come in, because you need to be able then to connect into different places. Water availability, for example, both for the community but also for any future developments. So they are able to really lift from just a normal landscape to an investable landscape. It's a win-win situation for both the foundation and the business, but most important, the local landowners.
Mesidai, manyaka nano, and ane dure ketunganak, neumwe saganati.
I think that was crucial, that we respected livestock, cattle, could graze together with the wildlife. And that coexistence, the Maasai know this perfectly well. That's absolutely possible.
The difference is in the past there was lots of space, lots, and now there isn't. So as that space diminishes, you need to then look more carefully at how many cattle is sustainable. It's all about managing your grass. So cattle actually provide a good mechanism. Instead of burning the grass to create new growth, we essentially use cows to do the same job. And it works. You'll see that provides an environment that is perfectly suited for these savanna species.
Now the animals are used to graze together, to mix together, to move together. We have cows, we have wildebeest, we have zebras, so we have all of them.
So the first conservancies that were set up, they are wildlife only. And that was needed because otherwise we couldn't get the tourism attraction. But that meant that people had to move out of these wildlife only conservancies. And where do they move to? They moved into the outer boundary. At the same time, that area is also very important as a wildlife corridor.
We cannot ask people to move anymore, and we need to have a solution to that.
We fairly quickly realized that Pardamat needs to be the next focus. It's complementary and is different. A dual use, we call it, and it's really testing the coexistence principle to its core. People, livestock and wildlife coexisting in the same area.
So when people moved in, we realized there was a lot of pressure and conflict started rising. They started fencing because they wanted to keep off wildlife.
This model involves removal of fences. Some have agreed to put down their fences, some have not. So we also have the people who've been affected by the human-wildlife conflict to be compensated for the damage and the loss that they've experienced. For this new model to work, it needs a lot of investment.
Dari sekenke, meru filata tunganak, filata tunganak ngwesi, kukumok lashumpa.
Ndio wakati sasa nilianza kuajiriwa Pardamat, ikanifanya nipende wanyamapori. Sahii wanyamapori naweza pata hiyo pesa, hiyo mshahara yangu naitumia, na tena nailinda wanyamapori nikiwa naendeleza maisha yangu.
So if you look ahead, to me it's very clear that if you don't empower the local people, Kenyans, at all levels, then you don't meet the future. Protecting this for the next generation, it has to be led by the Kenyans. Then you got the gender issue, so you have to bring in the women.
So for Maasai women, there was nothing much that they used to do back then, apart from being housewives and taking care of the livestock. So with conservancies, it has really changed a lot. It's not easy as a career woman. In as much as we are empowering women, we need to empower men to see the importance of women in the community, because it's important for them to see that we are equal and we have equal opportunities.
So now Saruni Basecamp, there's 420 people and they're only Kenyans. And that means the top layer of management, only Kenyans, and half of the top layer are women. So we created more than 2,000 jobs now for young Maasai within the conservancy tourism industry.
Mwesi ake puar, kakure taata nenotito nkera ang' esiai. Nikidol naa taata esidano, amera naa ketii nkera ang' irkasin. Naa karen karibu saen, kaata saen, karibu saen. Nalo amiraa nikidol esidano amu kusapa sii naishorua nena baa pookin.
Maibasayo kora le gorgisu. Egeria gangoro nyemila. Tara nana no sierngana jengorona.
Conservation and the camps, they give us a very big support. In my family, the 3 boys, we all been employed.
Yani living standard ya watu imekuja juu. Juu sahizi unapata wanapeana basari kwa watoto wa shule.
I like my children to be educated, because I know education now is the light of the world. Get a nice job and supportive family. And to not forget about the Maasai culture.
Would you like to smell the elephant dung? We could try and improve it by opening and also observe what is inside. You can also refer to elephants is playing the role of seed dispersal.
So the idea of having a school in Pardamat came from the community, not from us, but from the community.
So this plant is an ecosystem on its own.
Yes.
Also the bark sometimes are used as medicine.
A full-fledged college out in the bush, and we wanted to do it high level. We wanted to create a design and look and feel which is high quality, that meets international standard. It has to meet the huge challenges of the future, like climate change, like management of large areas of land, coexistence with livestock. We need to lift the leadership component within education.
I've always desired to be that change maker. Schooling has provided me with that opportunity to come back and work with the community to transform their lives.
What does success look like for Pardamat? First of all, peaceful coexistence between wildlife, livestock and people. Number two is that Pardamat, through the college and an expanded college, has become a recognized hub of higher leadership education, meeting the main challenge for the future. And that leadership education is for Kenyans, the next generation.
Tomorrow belongs to the young people, and that's what this college serves, to make sure that we become the stewards of conservation in the future.
Can this movement be expanded in Kenya? And can it create models that can be inspirational and replicated throughout the world, especially in areas where the indigenous people coexist with nature and wildlife? And I think the answer is clearly yes. And people actually now come to Kenya to learn from these models. It's a huge success story.
I think that's where Pardamat comes in, where people and wildlife coexist together. And for me, I think Pardamat is the future of conservation.